Hi, welcome back to Hydroponics Daily. Today's topic is fertigation tanks, or nutrient tanks, or water tanks. It's the area where you may keep your water and your diluted nutrients for applying to your crops, especially useful in continuous circulating systems or where you've got a lot of plants and you don't want to be hand watering or even using a hose. So you keep maybe a 200-litre tank and you fill it with water, and then you allow that water to warm up and then to get to the right temperature, and then you add your nutrients and then you feed your plants. Simple. However, there's a number of factors to consider. Obviously, fresh tap water or rainwater going in there will be cold, so you might want to have a heater. You might want to keep that, or in the summer, conversely, you might want to keep it cooler, keep the roots cool by cooling that down. And the other reason you might want to keep that cool is that to limit microbial growth in there as well. A really hot tank full of nutrients could get pretty funky, and that would lead to smells coming off and scum and foam appearing on the surface. And you might get foam and scum appearing if you put an aerator in there, because the other factor is you want to optimize is oxygen levels. Roots need oxygen, and so put in stagnant water in there, you might want to increase your aeration by having an aerator, but that will also may lead to foam and scum appearing, and that's a problem with DWC, deep water culture systems. If we're going to have an issue with gold leaf or liquid gold here in the UK, it's going to be in deep water culture systems where there's a lot of aeration. You can limit the aeration, put it on a timer, only use it for a few minutes every hour. That helps. You don't need continuous aeration often. You might put beneficial microbes in there. However, they might also feed off the nutrients as well. So just be careful about microbes. It could be something that you learn over time what's best for your system. There's going to be chlorine in there. If you're using tap water, might be a lot of chlorine depending on where you are in the world. And that will impact on microbes, and it will impact on plant growth as well, significantly. So you may want to dechlorinate that water, which means either waiting 24 hours for it to gas off, this is a term you'll hear, or you'll add a dechlorinator, so something like Dr. Hydro dechlorinator, or you include a fertilizer like gold leaf, which actually contains a dechlorinator already, so you don't need to worry about that. So you add the nutrients according to the rate on the feed chart. Don't overdo it, because again, that's going to be a problem. Then you'll have an outlet. You might have a filter on the outlet because there could be sediment. If you're mixing a lot of nutrients together over time, you can get sediment and drop out of those nutrients. That's a problem because they can block filters. That's also a problem because those nutrients are never going to be available to your plants. So if you mix them incorrectly, especially a problem with silicon fertilizers, if you don't do that correctly, you can get it dropping down to the bottom, and then microbes can feed on that sediment, and it can be a whole bit of pain. You will get microbes living on the sides of the tank as well over time, so they'll need to be cleaned out. Especially good when you've finished a run to clean everything out. I'd also clean it out before a run, because even if it's a clean, fresh, new tank, it's a lot of plastic going into the system, and there'll be agents on the like varnishes and things like that on the plastic that you might not want in your grow. You might have an inlet as well, so it might be a circulatory system, like a nutrient film technique where it's circulating back in, so it's not just one outlet. The inlets and the outlets will be the point at which you need to worry about safety of your system, because you don't want hundreds of litres of water spilling into a grow room where there's lots of electricity flowing through lights and cables and things like that. So, and you don't want to flood your rooms. So always check everything's on correctly, and check it regularly as well, because this is where there's going to be an issue with catastrophic failure of your system. And if you went away for a few days thinking, it's all right, I've got the tank, it's on a dosing system, you might have a timer here that sets it to go at a certain time, or it might be drawn in based on the pull from the plants, and then you get a blockage or you get a leakage, worst case scenario, then you're not only have you got hundreds of litres of water flowing out of your system, all your plants suddenly stop getting water. So it's not having a fertigation tank is not an excuse for never going and looking at your plants. As we say in horticulture, the best fertilizer is the grower's shadow. So it simplifies it, it makes it easier, but don't use it as an excuse to never go and see your plants. Check your plants every single day for pest and disease, and just to make sure they're happy. Okay, so that's been Hydroponics Daily, a very basic introduction to fertigation tanks. If I've missed anything blindingly obvious, then comment below, rip 7 shades of SH1T out of me, and I'll take it in good humour. Thank you very much.